The internet has turned Bronny James into the centerpiece of 4 different trade scenarios in just the past week. But 2 reporters, who actually have access to both locker rooms, delivered the exact same message on camera, just days apart. Nobody is making that call. There's a version of this story where Bronny James suddenly becomes one of the most valuable trade pieces in the NBA. Mock trades have sent him to Philadelphia in exchange for a stretch big. Other proposals have been built around a long list of names, including Dominic Barlow, Adama Sanogo, Jabari Walker, and Daniel Gafford, players many casual fans probably wouldn't even recognize in a lineup. But then there's the reality. The reality is the version 2 separate insiders, covering 2 different locker rooms, arrived at independently and only days apart. Right now, nobody with the actual authority to make a Bronny James trade happen is picking up the phone.
Demanding Bronny on the team, which by all cases he's not. I'm not trading or cutting someone on this team for Bronny James, who, look, let's just be honest, is just not a very good NBA player.
That's the Sixers side of the story, straight from the record, breaking down the real roster math instead of getting caught up in the fantasy version of a father-son reunion. Philadelphia doesn't have some hidden roster spot sitting open, just waiting for Bronny James to join his father.
He's still young, and you never know what the future of his career can be, but so far in his career, he's played 42 games, just 8 minutes a night.
That's not some biased opinion coming from a rival fan base. This is coming from the reporter covering the very team LeBron just joined. And the reality is simple. No team is going to sacrifice a legitimate asset based on that stat line, simply because the James name is attached to it.
Philadelphia, because you want to get him out of LeBron's shadow and see if he can actually give you something.
That's the other side of the same conclusion, this time coming from the Lakers side of that same media company, with completely different hosts. Yet both shows arrived at the exact same answer. Whatever is fueling this trade narrative, it clearly isn't coming from an actual roster need. So if there's no genuine motivation from either side to make this deal happen, why has the internet spent the last 2 weeks putting together an entire blueprint for a trade that nobody involved actually seems to want?
It doesn't mean like, hey, go get my son if you can, right? Like, you don't think LeBron James wants his son, And for the other side, for the Lakers, because I've also seen people go like, oh, hey, the Lakers already said that they wouldn't trade him. They didn't say that. They just said they're not just gonna give him away.
The phrase "Rich Paul isn't a package deal" has been repeated so often that it's practically become the NBA's version of a Miranda warning. Everyone keeps saying it, but almost nobody acts as if they actually believe it. And despite that, the trade boards continue to pile up with new names and increasingly elaborate scenarios anyway.
Jabari Walker would be great. Like, instead of that, hey, if you're going to waive him and buy him out anyway, you might as well just trade him to us. Right? Honestly, I don't even care about the pick. If I get Jabari Walker, just give me him. Just like straight up, like Jabari Walker for Bronny James.
That isn't a report. It's simply someone on a trade rumor channel proposing their own fantasy deal and presenting it in a way that makes it sound like insider information. Now multiply that across a dozen different channels, each creating the same type of scenario with different players and different teams, and suddenly you have a media cycle that creates the illusion of smoke even though nobody has actually started a fire. Meanwhile, the one person with genuine structural control over how basketball will be played in Philadelphia this season isn't being linked to any trade scenario at all. He already made his decision. He signed the deal himself.
Here's what Shams had to say. The Sixers, I'm told, are expecting LeBron James to play a good amount of time and period of time at the point guard position on offense, initiating the game, the offense for Nick Nurse. Tyrese Maxey last season played a lot on the ball at point guard, and we know his prowess off the ball as a scorer. Think of a better player that can set the table for Tyrese Maxey, Jaylen Brown, Joel Embiid, VJ Edgecombe. There's all these players that can score, that can get the ball from LeBron James.
LeBron isn't simply joining a talented roster anymore. He's stepping into a situation where he'll have a major say in who controls the ball, when they get it, and how often, while sharing the floor with 4 other max-level talents who have built their careers around creating offense themselves. Jaylen Brown, who has spent his career operating as a first or second option, may now have to take a backseat at times to a 41-year-old point forward. That's not just joining a team. That's helping dictate how the team operates. And that's the irony at the center of this entire circus. LeBron currently has enough influence with the 76ers to potentially reshape the roles of 4 all-star caliber teammates before training camp even begins. Yet somehow, he can't get either front office to show genuine interest in putting his own son on the roster. Reorganizing an entire NBA offense around LeBron's control somehow looks like the easier problem to solve than finding Bronny a roster spot. Now, to be fair, there's a legitimate question here. Is it really reasonable to judge a 21-year-old player's future after only 42 games? Plenty of second-round picks need several seasons before they truly establish themselves in the NBA. And Bronny's journey to the league was already complicated by a delayed and disrupted path before he even got there. The issue isn't necessarily that the criticism is too harsh. The real problem is the contradiction. The same media ecosystem saying Bronny simply isn't a very good NBA player is also creating massive 14 blockbuster trade scenarios centered around him. At some point, they have to pick a lane. Bronny can't simultaneously be an unproven bench player still searching for his role and a legitimate trade asset capable of driving major NBA deals just because the latter makes for a better thumbnail
on the court. Now, with that being said, I don't know if that opportunity comes with the Los Angeles Lakers because they are pretty loaded right now at the 2-guard spot at the moment. Obviously, you have Austin Reeves, who's your starter, and then off the bench, you've got your first-round pick in Cameron Carr. You've got Quentin Grimes, who you just gave $15 million per season to, and you've got Colin Sexton, who's going to play a little bit of the combo guard as well, and will see time at the 2-guard. I could see Bronny playing the 3 off the bench. I think he's probably in a better spot than both Dalton Knecht and Adu Thiero are. So that would really be Bronny's pathway, but he's a little undersized.
Austin Reeves is already expected to start. Rookie Cameron Carr is in the mix. Quentin Grimes just arrived on a fresh $15 million deal, while Colin Sexton is set to absorb plenty of combo guard minutes. That's already 4 players ahead of Bronny before Jaden Hardy even enters the conversation. The Lakers didn't open up a clear path for him this offseason. They created a traffic jam.
This year, I don't think he's going to really be a part of this Lakers rotation. Although if they do end up keeping him, I'd really like to see him get a fair chance. I just don't see it happening with the guys that I mentioned, Quentin Grimes, Cam Carr, Colin Sexton, all pretty much ahead of him in JJ Redick's pecking order. So it's an uphill battle for Bronny.
That's where the real stakes are, and Philadelphia has almost nothing to do with it. The bigger question isn't whether Bronny will reunite with his father. It's whether he gets meaningful playing time at all. The Lakers didn't suddenly end up with a crowded backcourt by accident. They deliberately added Quentin Grimes, Colin Sexton, Jaden Hardy, and rookie Cameron Carr to a position group that was already packed. Instead of making Bronny's path easier, they made the competition even tougher, and nobody actually has to trade him or release him. The team can simply continue adding better options ahead of him until the situation eventually answers itself. That's the quieter and arguably harsher part of the story that all the trade machine content completely ignores. A trade would at least mean someone made an intentional decision about Bronny's future. What appears to be happening instead is a gradual squeeze for playing time, with no one having to take responsibility for it. While headlines keep focusing on a father-son reunion that was never truly a serious option, LeBron could enter training camp with enough influence to shape the roles of 4 all-star caliber teammates, affecting their shot attempts, minutes, and responsibilities before a single preseason game is played. Meanwhile, his son could be battling just to crack the 9th or 10th spot in a rotation that became even more crowded by design, while neither organization appears willing to put a serious offer on the table for him. Same last name, 2 completely different levels of control over what happens this season.